Welcome to Embrace the Spiritual Podcast. Join friends Michelle and Dawn as they share tips on how you too can open your heart, raise your vibration, and reclaim your sovereignty. Hear what they have experienced and overcome in their spiritual journeys while navigating this expansive spiritual multiverse. Discover how they transform their soul lessons from ordinary into extraordinary.
Follow, subscribe, and share. Embrace the Spiritual on all podcast streaming services, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Go to embracethespiritual.com for additional content and a list of upcoming episodes. To book an aura regression or raw Reiki session, contact Dawn on her website, alchemy-sacredsound.com, and Michelle on her website at energeticembrace.com. Welcome to the final episode of season 1. Yay!
Woohoo!
We purposely made this episode 13 because 13 is a very powerful number. We just had our episode about the 13 keys attached to the ley lines, and there is just power in that number. So we wanted to end this episode on Lucky 13. This episode, we just wanted to share our favorite things about this season, talk about where we're going. And I know for me, I think it's hard to pick just one episode. There are so many elements and common themes that we saw throughout each of these episodes that are just fundamental. We really wanted this season 1 to be laying that foundation, laying the groundwork, getting you used to maybe some new concepts, maybe some concepts that you already knew, and maybe we've given you some ways to look at it differently or ways to incorporate it in your life. And we're really excited to continue to share with you. I just had a brain fart, so.
What more we have to learn together.
Love it. It was this squirrel, something caught my attention. I'm not sure what it was, but.
Was it the cat?
Oh, it could have been the cat. There you go. Dawn's cat's joining the fun. So yeah, some of the highlights I love, I really go back to being an observer, really having conscious languaging, being part of your day-to-day. I think that is such a key one. Definitely one of my top episodes that I really felt passionate about. That are you creating the picture of your life that you really want to have by the languaging that you're using? And even in the last episode, we talked about the law of action. The law of action is the energy you're putting out there, the words that you're using, the energy you're putting to situations. That's all part of your conscious languaging. What were some of the things that you really enjoyed for topics in season 1, Dawn?
Again, I'm going to have to agree. Conscious languaging is so huge and life-changing. That's number 1. And I would have to say probably the crystals one as well, because who doesn't love crystals?
Right.
I know. How many have you bought since the episode?
Lots.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what I did do that I don't know if I told you? I actually crystal gridded my little village.
Good for you. What did you do to grid your village?
So I only had limited crystals, and it is hard because some of the crystals we got from Eureka Springs were on the big side. So I was tossing them on people's lawns or hiding them up because we do have like a big wall. So I just, popped one up there, put them in trees. I put them on the corners, but if there was somebody who was, spraying, I put them on their lawn, hoping that they would find the love within their heart, so that they would stop hurting the plants and the creatures that live there.
Oh, what a beautiful gesture. And that's a good reminder. Thank you. Because as I look at my desk, I've got 2 sets of rose quartz crystals that a beautiful fellow practitioner gifted us in Eureka Springs, and I've cleansed them. I'm going to grid my property with them. And because I live in a lake community, my intention is I'm going to put these in the 4 sacred directions of the lake. It's a very large lake. When we did my house and property clearing, so that's one of the services that Dawn and I offer, is to do land and house clearing, is we actually healed a lot with the lake. So it is possible. We energetically cleared things that the indigenous people of the area weren't able to clear. They didn't have the tools, and they were waiting for the right time for somebody to help. So it's only fitting that I take these love crystals and gift them to the lake to continue its healing. So thanks for that reminder. I've got them sitting here and I need to take action and put these in their rightful place.
You're very welcome. And I cleared mine and I put them in the four corners of my house. So I just felt that that's what I needed to do, because I've already got like quartz, smoky quartz. Oh, I also got black tourmaline. I have so much. I'm like, do you really need more?
I usually buy something, I get it home and go, oh, I already had that. Oh, well, I
Right.
needed a new piece.
So I put it in the house because I'm like, if I'm, feeling the love within the house, I can radiate it out. And I feel like with having a teenager, sometimes they're not their most loving at times because it's, you're in a different brain set, a different, I feel like it's a whole different, like we could talk about the theta and the delta, but sometimes I'm like, there's got to be something in between because, you're talking and you're like, where are you? Or we're just not speaking the same language.
Exactly. That was definitely a great episode. And spiritual tools, like it's connected to that spiritual tools. I know your husband said that was one of his favorite episodes as well. And we really brought it back to those day-to-day things we can do. They're not just typical recommendations that people, oh, you have to do this or that, and it has to be done a certain way. No, it can be so many things and they can be so easy, so easy.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I would say that is a must, shielding twice a day. And if you're in a situation where you feel like something is infringing upon your boundaries, shield some more. And I know that we talked about it in the round table too, and that's what the thing, shielding is so important. And I know Aurora's probably like, I'm so tired of talking about shielding. But it is the foundation. It's the base. Like if you're building a beautiful house, it is the basement.
Absolutely. Basement from a feng shui perspective. And I think we've got that noted as a future episode topic. The basement is your foundation. Absolutely. It's the foundation of your life. It's the foundation of your property.
And I also think about how we have really, nothing is sacred anymore. I realize like with churches and stuff, to me, it's not sacred because I know what goes on behind the scenes. So we have also lost a lot of the sacredness of the things that we do. And so shielding just is trying to bring that little bit of sacredness from those Atlantic times or Atlantis times. I think I want to say Atlantean times. That's what sometimes I see the word that the angels are showing me, and like me trying to read it because I'm dyslexic. It's like, oh wait, I see the word. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, right.
And just our interactions with the angels. My cat's walking behind me. I catch it on camera.
So distracting. Yeah.
So it's now a squirrel.
That's okay. The lawnmower is going by, so I've got it muted. He's doing in between the house, I think.
Now I have the popo.
The sounds of nature.
And of the police.
And the popo driving by.
By the way, the popo is from Ghetto Terms, because I was reading this book that was, I was just like, oh, that's where I got it from. I'm like, but that makes sense because I did work with girls from the inner city at one of my jobs. So I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's one thing about living in a lake community. We hear it all. We don't live on the lake, so I don't have the sound of the boats and whatnot in the background, but we get the neighbors mowing the lawn during our podcast episodes.
Well, and I'm surprised, but you did say it rained, right?
It did rain, yeah.
So the grass does grow, unless he's like my neighbor where he either over mows it or under mows it.
No, he's pretty good. He mows it just right. He keeps it pretty good. Anyways.
All right. Okay. I got my thought back. And I just have to say, I love the angels. They are wonderful. And just being able to talk about them has made my connection to them. And going to Eureka Springs, wow, it was so mind blowing. And the energies and working with Yeshua, phenomenal. I probably could talk about it for 3 episodes, but we're not going to go there.
No, but you're absolutely right. The magical creatures we saw. And if we didn't have that reunion retreat in that place, I certainly wouldn't have known about all the magic or in some of these areas that are just seemingly random in the middle of nowhere. It was kind of cool. We're in the Ozarks, so you hear about the Ozarks and what it contains, but the ability of Aurora to find the locations that we need to go and heal. Because that's really what we do at these retreats. Yes, we get together, we do sessions on each other, but really it's about what we're healing in that area. And some things we can't talk about, but we had some practitioners come across something pretty intense, but it was intense because they knew we were there to do some pretty heavy healing. So it's no surprise.
And because we did that healing, a lot of things that would not have come forth did come forth. So since when you work with energy, you clear things out, and it allows things that are pure of heart to come through. So it was just wonderful to be able to do that. And, I can't wait to go to the next place to do it all over again.
Yeah, these retreats end up helping us understand the multiverse that we're in, understanding things on a completely different level than maybe what we've seen it in the past. So we will keep sharing. Hopefully everyone's enjoying season 1. We've got up on our website under the Contact Us page. There is a form that you could submit. We would love to hear from our listeners and find out what spiritual things do you want to know about that we haven't already covered. And we'll certainly cover some of those in season 2 and beyond. We're still doing a weekly podcast. We're going to take a break for the summer, let you guys take a break, and then we'll be back in full force in September. But we would love to get your ideas and thoughts as to some of the other things that we could cover. To maybe you've come across something that you're questioning what it really means, because as we've talked about, not everything is what it seems. You need to look through that veil. You need to uncover deeper meanings to things. So we want to hear from you. Let's do it. And if you want your name said on the episode for asking the question, by all means, put that in your notes in the Contact Us form, and we'll be sure to give you that recognition. We'd love to hear from you and keep those ideas flowing at any time.
And no question is silly. So please ask, because if you don't ask, we don't know. We're not mind readers. Well, I mean, I can read Michelle's mind, but I'm not going to read your mind.
Happens all the time. If you could see our text strands, sometimes you would just laugh. It's pretty cute.
So, but she's given me permission, so it's okay that I'm reading her mind, only the important things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no question. If we can answer it, some things, we might not know about. Yeah, because I can think of stuff that I've asked and I'm just like, well, but it's my question, and I'm coming from a heart place of innocence. So help me out.
And we both love learning. So if it's something that we don't already know about or have experienced, we'll help seek the answers and help flush out what the real tea is on any situation. We'll dish the tea if we find the answer for you.
Yes, absolutely. So think of things, challenge us, or just stuff you want to know. Maybe more of our, we've talked about shielding, we talked about grounding. Yeah, and I realized in our last episode, we did not talk about what ley lines were. So can we talk about them now?
Absolutely. Let's bring in ley lines.
Ley lines are energetic, imagine like a cord, so it connects. So all those ley lines that we're talking about, it's this cord that connects them. But then there's also like mini ley lines. So I live on a ley line. There is a pond that has an underground river that goes I think 10 miles to I don't know what, and I don't even know how they know, but there's an underground river that has been noted by geologists. That is a ley line. It's natural formed. Water creates them. I know that when you go in forests, there can be natural vortexes where the trees are wrapped in a circle, and you can tell and this is going from somebody else, and that she's kind of inverted, so I'm not sure if it's true, because she would say positive or negative, but there's really, if it's being natural, it's not positive or negative. If it's counterclockwise, it's creating energy. And if it's clockwise, it's pulling in energy. Yeah, I'm trying to
counterclockwise draws out the energy and clockwise brings it in.
Yeah, so it's clearing, so it would clear, and then but then, when I see, because I'm trying to think, when I've seen universes being created, which way is the energy going? I'd have to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you haven't had a chance to visit a vortex, add it to your list of things to do. There's many in Sedona. I love Sedona. It's on one of the ley lines and, tons of energy running through that area. But you can tell when you're in the vortex because you will see those twisted plants. So, I have pictures where these trees are just twisted naturally over hundreds of years just because of the pull of the energy in that area. It's pretty cool.
And did you notice when we were in Eureka Springs, all the interesting, like that portal that we walked through?
Yes.
Which I would have never known because nobody points that stuff out.
So look at those anomalies, what we would consider anomalies in nature. They're there for a reason. So what Dawn's talking about is there was actually a tree that it had a limb grow in a circle, and it was a portal. It was a leveling up portal that if you didn't know was there, you wouldn't get there. Another way to think of ley lines too is it's really connecting all of those sacred sites across the world. So each sacred site, there's ley lines that connect all of them. I mean, there's not just a few ley lines. There are many, many ley lines. They're like a grid or a matrix, and it's all of Earth's natural energies. It's not something, geographical on a map. That it's pure energy, high vibration frequencies that are felt like by people and animals. So when I'm in Sedona, I can feel the energy in Sedona, and then I can feel once I've driven out of it. So it's kind of cool.
And a lot of times on those ley lines, they do try to corrupt because they want to stop the flow of energy. Just like, if you're not balancing your body, there are things that will stop the flow so things don't work out and heal for the greater good of humanity. So that's why it's so important to help yourself heal, because maybe you're on a ley line and it will echo out through your ley line.
Exactly. And if you think the impact and ripple effect of you healing within that ley line and it connecting to other sacred sites, and as those sacred sites, like Stonehenge and these other more popular ones, the Pyramid of Giza, it's all interconnected. Nothing is separate. All the energy is connected on Earth. And that's why we're doing this podcast, as Dawn said, to help heal the collective, because as each of us as individuals raises our vibration and we're connecting in with nature, you're hugging a tree with our animals, whether they're physically visible to us or energetically visible to us, doesn't matter. We're creating such a huge ripple effect on the universe. It's on a grand scale, people. We have that divine power within us. So yes, we are just one person as an individual, but the connection we have to the collective is infinite and constant. So just remember, that's why all these little topics, we are very deliberate in what we're talking about and the timing and sequencing of what we're talking about, so that we can build on that energy. And it's like that for those of us that have snow. Both Dawn and I have snow on either side of the eastern US and Western Canada, rolling up a snowball, right? It gets bigger and you're just adding another layer, adding another layer. That's how you build that momentum.
So how people always think that what they do doesn't matter, it does. What you say, what you think, what you feel, it does matter. When you see something that you don't like, and even if you feel helpless and you can't do anything about it, I do not consent. That is still putting out into the universe that you are making a point and letting the universe know that this is not right. And I'm talking about big things. I'm not talking about like, oh, your politician didn't get, voted in office. On the grand scheme of things, it doesn't not matter. We're talking about injustices, like the poisoning, the hurting, the sex trafficking, the way people treat other people. We should not have to be listeners, viewers, or seeing things that are not appropriate. The violence that is happening in our cities, the putting down of people because somebody's ego thinks it's beneficial to them. I don't consent to any of that. That is not what type of person I want to be. That's not what type of person I want to hang out with. And I'm sorry if that's what type of person you are, but it has to end. I'm not here to be part of that anymore. I'm leaving that life behind and I'm moving on. No more drama for this girl. And I keep telling, I've always instilled in my children, this is not what type of people we are. We don't, Drama makes more drama. Keep your life simple, keep yourself happy, surround yourself with good people. Yes, it's, every once in a while it's okay to have a good laugh or something, but don't focus on that negative stuff because it will draw you in hook, line, and sinker every time. I've seen people get addicted so easy to TV shows that honestly don't matter, to video games, they don't matter. Yeah, I mean, I know that these kids now have they can communicate all across the world and they have friends, but in the long run, if we lost power, would it matter? Probably not. They'd have to figure out how to deal with having other time to do other things. Everything can change in the blink of an eye. So
I think that's a great point, that let's get back to real connection. Like, what a concept. Let's get back to the quote unquote olden days where we didn't have this technology and we actually, yes, we had phones. You pick up the phone and talk to someone, or you drive over to their house to talk to them. So we have better ways of communicating with people, which is fine. And I mean, works for this podcast. Dawn and I are geographically in opposite ends of North America. So we use a utility to be able to connect and see each other face to face and have that connection. But we're having conversations. It's heart-centered, it's real, and be vulnerable, share things. When the people that Dawn was talking about, not consenting to these bullies and people that just want to play the victim, remember that them doing that act of being mean to other people, to me, it just is a mirror of what they have going on inside of them. It has nothing to do with a person, but sadly, they are taking it out on someone else, hurting their feelings, and that's not okay. Look to any of those actions you might unconsciously or subconsciously do that's maybe been a little bit of programming, and certainly that's out there, but work on healing yourself. Have an Akashic reading, have a aura or a raw session with Dawn or I, and get those healings, get some Reiki, whatever you have access to, just start doing that work. It's going to help you become that manifester of things that you want in your life.
beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Think of what you want, how you want your future to be, and start thinking about it. Manifest it. Do you want to be living the same role that you have been stuck in? Do you feel stuck? I don't feel stuck. I feel free and blessed and grateful for everything that I have and everything that I've created and all the things that I'm creating as we speak in the here and now that will be coming in the future to me, because time doesn't exist in my mind. I mean, yes, I have to follow the clock, and yeah, I need to be in bed by a certain time, or I don't get enough sleep. I want to draw in that future that is going to be even better than this moment right now, because I can feel it in my heart. So it's going to happen. So feel that moment in your heart of that future that you want for yourself.
Absolutely. I love that you brought up gratitude, because gratitude, to me, if you really feel it, is such a heart-focused action. And it is an action. You are actively being grateful for something. It's not just saying, oh, I'm thankful for, my Xbox and my cell phone. That's not what we're talking about. Be grateful that you have a roof over your head. Be grateful that you have friends that love you. Be grateful that you're able to earn a living. Maybe that you've got physical abilities that somebody else would love to have. Be grateful for those things. Don't look at the lack. Don't compare. That's such a losing battle, to compare to others. Donna and I don't compare, because we came into this life with different abilities and purposes, the same collective healing purpose, but each of us bring different strengths to achieve that. And that's what it's all about. We all have our own uniqueness, and that is on purpose. So embrace what you are given and be grateful for it.
It'd be pretty much boring if we were the same personality.
It would be.
I know. I'd be like, yep.
Talk to yourself in a mirror,
Or the wall.
or the wall. Yeah, exactly.
So you could hear the echo.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, when you were talking about the comparing, that's programming. Look at the TV shows that you've been shown to watch. Oh, this is the life you should lead. This is what you should be doing. No, you shouldn't. That's not you. And it might never be you. And it might not be something that you are even interested in, looking at it from different eyes now. I mean, I never really, I mean, I liked TV, but I didn't like TV. I didn't, I never understood soap operas. I'm just like it's the same storyline being regurgitated, like, and people are like, oh my God, they act like, ooh, this is new, this is exciting. And I'm like, this is so boring. Please help. I mean, I do get sucked in by Hallmark movies.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
I'm not like totally perfect, but I do, or, anything with dragons and magical creatures, you got me there, or anything about aliens and planets.
Totally. If you saw my playlist on the streaming services, it's a whole range for sure. And you know what? In the past, I was one of those people that watched the soap operas. But I totally was. I recorded them and I watched them so I could skip through the commercials. I realized that it was an avenue to disconnect from my life. So I realized that for me, it could be different from everybody else. Sometimes you need that downtime where you don't have to think. But I think sometimes people watch it because they idolize what's going on the screen. And, oh, I wish my life was like that. I wish my spouse would do that for me. Like, don't do that. It's written very deliberately and it's not real life. So, but I agree. I've got all these alien, shows, of course, not the ones that are, false narratives. The kids show that are all magical. My kids are adults now, but I think I've said this before. My husband giggles because I'll sit down and watch a kids show that's about Yeti or, dragons. So anyways, I think it's kind of cute. I love it.
We can see the magic that is out there that we want to bring into our life, and we can appreciate it when it's semi-truthful, because I don't think they're really going to be extremely truthful.
No, they only want us to know so much out of that. Yes.
Right. That is true as well. So yeah, I hope that we've inspired you and that you've learned something and have grown and want to inspire more people to grow with you.
Yeah. And please share our podcast with friends, family. We love to continue to get the word out there. And as we said earlier, we want to hear from you. How's it been going? We're on social media. Dawn's doing a great job of posting and sharing our information on Instagram, Facebook. The best is hearing from you guys. As Dawn said, we're here to help. We're here to share. We're here to help expand, raise your vibration. I'm just saying, we got some pretty cool things already on our list. So I'm really looking forward to what the listeners want to add to that lineup, because we are going to be going out there on some pretty out there topics, and you don't want to miss out on those, because I tell you, there's things, maybe you've seen some videos out there, and we'll help expand on what those things really mean.
And I have no clue what she's talking about, so I'm really looking for season 2.
Sometimes it's a surprise for us too.
Yeah, because we also do this organically, and we actually this season decided, you know what? That was such an intense, we're going to do this instead. So we are very, if something doesn't feel right, we will change it last minute. So we had recorded like, well, we're going to do something. I can't remember what we're going to do previous. And then we're like, nope, this is the time. So
yep. And we're keeping it real. Honestly, we pick a topic and we might have a couple of resources that we refer to, which we put on our website so you can see where we're coming from. All of these episodes are just channeled, whatever is coming through that we feel the collective needs to hear. That's what you're getting. It's real, it's raw, not scripted, because I think if it was scripted, it would feel awkward. That's just not who we are.
Right. And when you're channel, you can't script.
No. Because you never know. Those archangels, as we said, they can throw you off. There's been many times where I'm like, I have no idea what I was just going to say, but it was going to be awesome.
Yeah, because they like to be like, oh, well, you think you're going left. I'm actually going to make you go right.
Exactly. So stay tuned, because we're heading on timelines and information that is not mainstream. This is not one of those podcasts. So hang in there for the ride. We're looking forward to it.
Yes. And thank you so much for listening. We love, honor, and respect you all, and reach out. We would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Take care and keep embracing the spiritual. Enjoy your summer, get out and hug a tree and spend time in nature. We look forward to you joining us back in September for season 2. Follow, subscribe, and share Embrace the Spiritual on all podcast streaming services, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Go to embracethespiritual.com for additional content and a list of upcoming episodes. To book an aura regression or raw Reiki session, contact Dawn on her website, alchemy-sacredsound.com, and Michelle on her website at energeticembrace.com.
Infinite love and gratitude. Thank you for joining us.